Hello, everyone. My name's Megan Ellsworth,
And I'm Lauren White.
and this is the AskARoofer podcast. And we are so excited to be talking about women-owned roofing companies, why you should work with them, why they are more popular than ever, and everything about being a woman in construction. And today we're chatting with Wendy Marvin and Yana Zavala. Hi, ladies.
Hi, guys.
Hello.
So let's dive right in and just have you introduce yourself. Yana, let's start with you. And introduce yourself and tell us about her roofing.
Well, Yana Zavala, I started her roofing about 4 years ago. I have I started the industry back in 96, so about 28 years in the industry. And started in distribution, worked my way into manufacturing, and now contracting is the last portion that I went into. And it's been going great. I'm sole owner, and I've been doing it for quite a while, so it's been great. Here in Portland, Oregon, and we got some weather coming in, so it's been great.
Awesome. Wendy, let's hear it.
Hi, guys. I'm Wendy Marvin. I am the sole owner of Matrix Roof and Home Solutions in Vancouver, Washington. We are a 17-year-old company, so we've survived. It's kind of crazy to think about that. Like Yana, I'm the only person that's running it, so I think it's a beautiful thing for that change to happen in our industry. A lot of times it's husband and wife, and I'm not demeaning that in any way, shape, or form, but I think we kind of are unicorns, and it's good stuff. It's making some changes.
Yeah, it's incredible. And what inspired both of you to start your own company? Wendy, do you want to start?
Well, I always laugh at that because people are like, did you grow up wanting to be a roofer? And I'm like, really? I don't know a ton of people in our industry that grew up wanting to be a roofer other than if their family owned the company. But what's really cool is that we started the company based on really bad contractor experiences, and then ended up with me purchasing the company from my ex, who I started it with back in 2016, and just haven't looked back. And I'm passionate about helping people. That's the big thing for me. When we transitioned to ownership, was we went from buying the next truck, buying the next house, kind of money to community. And so, that change was big. And I, even if my company wasn't here today, I still would want to be part of this industry because our people are just incredible.
Definitely. And Yana, what about you?
Well, one of the things I found when I was in manufacturing, because I was a trainer, that a lot of the contractors were not doing what they should be doing, or even reading the application instructions. So I felt like I could do it much better than what I've been seeing out there in the industry. And so that's what drove me to start the company. I felt like it had a need, and I was there to fill that need.
That's
the
awesome.
beauty is we answer the phone and show up on time for appointments, and we're better than 90% of our competition. So
She said it.
quiet part out loud.
Was that my outside voice? I love it. Well, kind of going off of that. So, I mean, as you know, historically, the roofing industry has been a male-dominated field. So, what are some challenges that you all have faced being women and working in this field and owning a roofing company? Maybe who wants to go first? Wendy?
I was like, where Yana came from, she's got stories to burn, and so do I. It's like 17 years is my unique part of it, and it wasn't pretty coming in early. Like, still having people talk to my ex, not even look at me as part of the ownership.
Yeah.
All the stupidity of the misogyny and the have you been on a roof? And I'm like, but
Yeah.
I just feel like it's really changed lately. And I would say maybe the last probably 5 to 7 years has just been exponential. I'm on the board for NRCA now. I'm doing Western States, and I would walk into those rooms and feel really intimidated and really almost embarrassed, or you get that look up and down from the men, and it's like we don't really get that much anymore. There's still some outliers, but I think we're aligning with the right people, and I don't focus a lot on that, because I could tell you stories that make your hair curl, and I'm sure Yana's the same. Is men can be really not fun at times. But I'm not seeing as much of that anymore. And when it is happening, what I really like is I'm seeing other men in our industry call out those behaviors where I don't have to. And part of my success, I think, is just the fact that I'd be like, you're an idiot. I don't even have to mince words anymore. If somebody's acting like that, I can call them what it is. And but it's really nice to have the support from other men in our industry, for sure.
Yeah, Yana, any challenges that you've faced and overcome? I'm sure plenty.
Yeah, starting out in the industry when I was in distribution, most of the people that would come in and want to talk to a man, even though I could answer the question. In fact, by the time I got to manufacturing, it would be the same thing. They would come into the booth, and I remember several times they'd ask, a contractor would ask a technical question, and the salesperson wouldn't know, so they look at me and I'd answer it, and then they get surprised that I would know the answer because I'm not what they're used to, maybe. But there's a lot of that, and then early on there was there was sexual harassment, and was pretty dominant in the very beginning. But now, just like Wendy, everything has changed for the better. And from what I can tell, because I'm not a newbie anymore, things have changed. So I know there's other women that are breaking into the market, into our industry, and I encourage you, if you do feel any of that, reach out to any of us, women that been in the industry. We can help provide some guidance with that. But I don't see it as much. But I'm not, I'm not new anymore, and I feel like I've earned my stripes. So.
Well, and I was going to tell Yana, if anybody has that happen and they need to reach out to us, just do, because we probably know their boss.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yes.
Boom.
Yeah, right.
No, it's really positive to hear that there's been significant change over the years for the better, versus continuing in that cycle. And so as both of you are in leadership positions, both in your company and associations, how do you believe having women in leadership positions like these, or as contractors, brings, a unique perspective to the industry? Like, what is that unique perspective that women bring?
I think the big one for me is just collaboration. It's been real interesting to feel like, when we used to be at meetings, even things like Best of Success, it wasn't as open and sharing and be like, somebody's talking about, hey, I don't know commercial contracting, and somebody else would go, well, I know it really well, but then they're all like, but I'm not going to tell you about it, kind of thing. And now it feels a lot more like, when we're at trade shows or events or whatever, sitting around bars, even, you get this sense of camaraderie, and people are like more willing to give you anything they can do. Even like Yana and I are in the same market. Like, I'm literally 5 minutes across the bridge from her, and it's like, if she needs anything, all she has to do is call, and I know it'd be the same from my side. So that's just, I think it's a difference in how women behave, but I'm seeing a big difference again on the boards, and the the general feeling overall is not keep your cards close to your chest and not help anybody. We're getting a lot more collaborative.
That's great to hear.
Yeah, definitely. Yana, what about you?
Yeah, I really feel that having women leaders it helps increase productivity. And like Wendy says, it enhances the collaboration, not within the company, but also outside in the industry. And it really inspires, organizational dedication. So like our employees seemed a lot more engaged and are more dedicated than what I have seen in past companies. And we're very team orientated. we have open communication between all of us, whether it's me or the office manager, or it's just we're all the same. I don't put myself above anyone else within the company, and I have the open door policy. And so with that, I mean, women brings a fresh perspective when it comes to building a company and having that organization. It also improves fairness. That's one thing that's been a topic. It's been in the news lately with equal pay, and that's something I'm adamant about, that women should be treated fairly, and it is that way within my organization. And I think it helps with women being in leadership roles with other companies, whether it's manufacturing or distribution. That's just what some of the things that bringing women into those leadership positions does for a company. I don't think there's still enough women in the industry, but it's getting there. I don't get very many women walking in the door wanting to, go, work for us. I work with other like Oregon tradeswomen to try to foster that, but it just doesn't happen overnight. But again, women bring a lot, I think, to companies, and it brings a lot in the construction trade.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. It would be great to see so many more women. And I know like National Women Roofing Day is coming up, and those numbers have just been growing and growing. And they're like, I think like over 2,000 members. But imagine like the numbers of like NRCA, and being like for National Women Roofing. So I agree. Would love to just continue seeing more. So kind of going off of, women in leadership positions, what benefits do your clients get when they hire women-owned contracting companies or work with women-led crews for their home projects or commercial projects?
I think there's an attention to detail that females bring that gets lost. And you can have a detailed male relationship, but I think, and I'm overgeneralizing, but again, the question is what it is that from a female perspective, I think we have empathy. And I think that's different because there's a give and a take in a relationship when you're doing something that's unseen. And so what we do is invisible to our customers. And because of that, it requires a huge amount of trust. And the empathy is us understanding what it feels like to our customers to be in that position. And then we adjust accordingly. And, Yana said it earlier, just talking about how, she's running a company differently. We're more transparent. We're more, we understand that I'm not going to come out there on site and treat you like I'm doing you a favor by being there. It's your home. It's your, and truly still going on big time out there, which is good for us. But yeah, just a different perspective. And I think that empathy is what keeps coming up to me because I can understand what it feels like to be a customer of a roofing company. And I can understand what was really crappy about having that happen in construction, in general.
Yana, how about you? What are some bonuses that people get when they hire a woman roofing contractor?
One of the things I hear all the time is the organization. We're a lot more organized and work together as a team. Also, the transparency is pretty, we get that quite a bit on the feedback, is they really appreciate the transparency, and they feel more comfortable working with a woman. A lot of the customers do. Because of the organization skills that we have and communication between each other. I think that goes a long way. So that benefits the customer in the long run. And so that's how I think women can really help when you own a company and help, the customers and they get a good product.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah. A quick example. So yesterday, we're having windstorms in our area. And yesterday on Facebook, we had a lady put a post out and she was like, hey, I have a tree on my house and I've had the tree removed, but I've got holes in my roof. What do I do? Who can come out? And so, we posted, and my operations manager posted a great post, said, hey, Matrix Roofing, whatever. And then I posted to her and I said, hey, Matrix Roofing, we're female owned. And I just want you to know that, before before you're out bidding. And she called us. And so I ended up on site with her yesterday, and she just shared horrible experience after horrible experience after horrible experience of, they have children, and they both work, and they're trying to get to, like, they make a 4:00 appointment and they don't show up at 4:00. And I'm like, God, you guys, and it's not roofing in general, it's construction. But, she was so thankful that we had that mentality of being a female owned company, and it instantly gave her more trust, which, Yana and I are doing a good job on continuing to earn. And I hope as we grow more females that we keep that integrity intact.
It's amazing.
Yeah. Wow.
Okay. So we've talked a little bit about how the roofing industry has evolved in terms of inclusivity. Are there any other areas that you've seen this growth, and are there any other steps that can be taken to create a more inclusive workplace for women? So it's kind of a two-parter.
Well, go ahead and take this question. I think having a company that helps embrace women and empower them, and a lot, having them in participation and decision making is really important. And fostering that environment is what will help with inclusivity. Doing equal educational opportunities for women within the company. I'm a huge believer in education, and I've always with my staff, if there's anything that if you're interested in taking classes, come bring it to me, and we can chat about it, because that's one of the things that I'm a big believer in, continuing education, and making it equal within the whole company, with the women as well, and fostering that, and also the economic empowerment, again, equal pay. I think that's really important, and it helps keep a healthy environment and makes it inclusive of women. And so often I see in companies, not so much as now, but even 6-7 years ago, women would be in the industry and they're not making the same as what the males would make.
Yeah.
And that's really important to look at that, to become an inclusive employer. And again, participation in decision making also is an important piece for inclusivity.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. It's sad. I don't want to dwell on negative, but we have a long way to go. And, a prime example for me recently is our new hire in our office. Her name is Courtney. Is an amazing individual, incredible ops experience, incredible scheduling, all these things. And she came from a company here locally where exactly what Yana just said. She didn't have equal benefits doing the same job. She didn't have a company truck when everybody else had a company truck. She didn't have a company phone when everybody, and it's like, really? Like, are we really that far gone? And I think what's beautiful about it is, we're making really good strides in our industry. Again, I feel good about where we're headed, but we're really getting to this place where we have a bigger divide between these really crappy companies that don't get inclusivity, that still abuse their workers, that are not good people, and those of us that are doing it differently. And what's good to me is that, now we're company owners. So I'm taking business away from those people, and I'm going to continue to do that until they either grow up or go away. And I think that's the beauty of what's going on, is we're really at a pivotal point. I'm on DEI for NRCA, and I love it, but we're still having some really 10 years ago conversations, and we're having them, which is positive. But we've just got a lot more work to do. And I would say, if you're a female in our industry, please join us, because we need all the support we can get, and we need to have those voices. And you need to be somebody that can speak up in a meeting and show up in a meeting and take up space. And, sometimes I don't like that, but it's okay.
Yeah.
We have to get away from that everybody has to like me mentality and for me, that's age, right? I'm not in my 20s anymore, and I could give a rip, but I think there's a beauty to that when you enter an industry that can treat you poorly, that that we move on forward with the people that are going to join us. And I always think about that RBG quote that's like, make change in a manner that'll make people join you. I can't even quote it correctly, but that's the case. That it's basically like, do it in a manner that make other people impassioned to join you, not create enemies. And I think that we do that, but I also think it's time for us to start calling out the people that are doing it wrong and letting them know that there are better ways to do it.
Yeah, I completely agree with that. I mean, and how else are people going to learn,
Yeah.
So I think having open and honest discussions is so important, especially when it comes to these topics, and making everyone feel included and not excluded. And kind of a little bit going off of that. So the roofing industry is so known for, being involved in community projects. Can you guys share some examples of how women, and maybe all contractors of gender identities, give back to their communities?
For me, it was that was the turning point for me when I took over the business. Is I became a community contractor, and we do habitat, and we have women's built habitat now, where the houses themselves are fully built by women, only women.
Oh, that's so cool.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and there's a subset of them that go through and do fundraising for those houses specifically. So we have women build luncheons and different things like that. I just feel like we just got pinged to go do a huge a group that's a children's cancer camp, where we're going to go and help them find good pricing for doing a ton of buildings in this community. And they didn't call anybody else; they called us, which was a big compliment. And I think that happens because we're connected with the community. I feel like women are leading the charge in that realm, in our industry especially, but in a lot of construction, that they're really leading the charge and giving back and understanding that it matters to do that.
That's great.
So I also really foster into working with the Oregon tradeswomen, and I think it's really important in helping get women into the trades. And in Oregon, we have Oregon tradeswomen, but it's also nationwide. They have organizations in Texas and Nevada and Chicago. I encourage anyone to look into that. And what they do is they teach women construction that are interested in learning the trade. And then from there, they have job fairs and that you could participate in and bring them, interview them, take them into that space, teach them into roofing. The other project I think is kind of near and dear is the Trevor Project, which is the mission is to help end suicide among LGBTQ individuals for young people, because a lot of times in schools, and this is a nationwide program, but a lot of times in schools they don't have an outreach program, and suicide prevention is with mental health, it's such a big issue coming out of COVID. And I think it's very important, to support these type of programs. And that's one of the ways that we do with our community. And it's hard to pick when we do, charities, because there's so many out there and there's so many good ones. That's why I try to divide it up a little bit and picking the right ones that help with our community and what's important to our community. And also help fostering, bringing in women into the organization. So I think I see that a lot more in the last 3 to 4 years with women being involved in community outreach programs.
That's great.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah. Wow. That's really cool. And the Oregon tradeswomen, that's such a good
it's a great group.
thing. Yeah. For people out there or specifically women that want to get into this trade, go check out organizations like that. I'm sure there are probably organizations, in other states that are very similar. And
yeah.
Good. Yeah.
Yeah. They actually have a site. So if you go to Oregon Tradeswomen and you want to see if there's an organization in your state, you can go to that site and then go to, I think one of the links is other organizations or affiliates. And
Okay.
then the whole list will pop up of all the other affiliates across the country. I
That's
encourage people
awesome.
to take a look at it.
Yeah, everyone out there, go check it out.
I wanted to throw one more thing, and I know I kind of talked about we have a lot of work to do, but we partner with some local construction, some builders in our area, and they're male owned. And we go to grade schools and actually give fourth graders the opportunity to use tools for the first time. And I think that we've got a lot of really good options here, but it's like, don't negate small things like that, because they make a pre-built toolbox that the kids get, and then we go around as as people with them and teach them how to hold a hammer correctly and how to be able to nail straight. And it's like, for a lot of these kids, it's the first time they've ever held a tool. And I think some of those sprinkles of of empowerment are valuable too, as well as some of the larger things that we do.
Oh,
Absolutely.
that's so cute.
That is,
Yeah.
I love it.
Their faces when they're holding their little toolbox and they're like, "Daddy, I built this," and it's like, oh,
They're like so proud.
Oh,
yeah,
that's
pretty cool.
awesome.
That's so cute.
That's so cool. Okay, we've touched on this a little bit too, but women in the roofing industry have incredible camaraderie. I mean, looking at both of you right now, you're in similar areas and both on this podcast. Can you share some examples of how you support and uplift each other as women in the roofing industry?
Yana, you want to run?
Yeah. So, I mean, when I'm at the shows, so I tend to be in the office quite a bit and, running the business, but predominantly when I'm out in the shows, so we go to Western States, IRE, and come across women in just walking around the show. And a lot of times they just need some outreach, some help and direction if they're just by themselves. So we all kind of help each other in that respect. Or if anyone is feeling, frustrated, another woman contractor, another woman, just in the trade and needing some, maybe guidance or just someone to talk to. That's what we're here for, is to really help and talk, help provide some guidance with our experience that we've had. It's really helps the other people. And I think we just all uplift each other. It's a different, especially with National Women in Roofing, it's just a different organization than what you see in other organizations. We really motivate each other.
100%. I would say, come like to the young women, join us and consider that, construction is a lifelong career. Yana's a great example of it. She started in, sales, and she did, manufacturing, and now she owns her own company. And it's like, you could do accounting. There's so many things you can do, but it's a lifelong job. Everybody is always going to need roofs. And, and our little tiny part of the construction industry is growing and changing. And it's really an exciting time to be a part of that. So I think that's a big deal. Starting your own business, it's not easy. 80% of our companies fail in the first 5 years. And I think Yana nailed it earlier, just talking about it's because of who we are as business owners that make us different. We're not just craftsmen, we're business owners. And I think if you have one side of that without the other, it's tough, and you need both. And so you need that camaraderie, you need that support, you need that Harness and Heels group, with Kristen, where you can reach out and say, hey, I got this project coming up and I don't know how to read this part of the blueprints. Have you guys ever done this? Or, hey, I need this contract or whatever. And then just talking about, Western States and IRE and everything, it's like, I make a point of trying to high five women that I run into. It's like, just to be able to say, even if it's a husband and wife, I see you and you are a part of this just as much as he is. And, we're going to be putting some extra time in at IRE in the NRCA booth, both as diversity and as female-owned contractors. So we're going to be there to talk to people as they come up. So finding that niche and just telling the younger women, just come find us, because we're still outnumbered at the moment. But we're here, and 90% of us are collaborative, and people I've met in NWIR are my friends from New Orleans and Minnesota, and so then we see each other, and it's just exciting. So come join us. There's an incredible opportunity here.
Yeah. You guys really did so great answering that question. We have our next question is, what advice would you give young women considering a career in roofing? And any other advice besides what the amazing things you just said, like join National Women Roofing, harness and heels. What would you say to maybe your younger self when you were considering starting your company?
I would say you should have done it a long time ago.
Love it.
Yeah. But like Wendy says, it is a tough, being an owner, but I'm not looking back, and I would encourage other women to, if they're interested, to get into it. And I think that you have a great support group, and there's a lot of opportunity for you.
Yeah, 100%. Younger is just remember that you're enough. We're still so conditioned for the you're not pretty enough, you're not tall enough, you're not thin enough, you're not whatever. And it's like you got to kind of dump all that and recognize that I am enough. And sometimes I do my power pose before I walk into rooms. Like, I had upset stomach for days before I went to my first NRCA board meeting, and sat amongst all those people that are successful in their own rights, but 90% men still. And you still have you're going to have those moments again. The numbers are just against us still. But, when I come up against that negativity or that guy, let's just call him that guy. I just go around him and continue on to somebody else who is better. And I think that, again, that company that treated my now new employee poorly, it's like, I'm going to take business from him and I'm not going to look back. And we're just going to continue to grow and take the industry, because they don't understand the customers want this too, and that's the thing for me is we're going to continue to be successful and grow and recognize that we're enough and support each other when we're feeling down. And just means the trajectory is up for all of us.
Yeah. Well said, ladies. And for any, them people out there listening to this podcast and thinking about getting into roofing, looking for your next career, please join us. It's a great industry, and there's lots of people like Yana and Wendy out there that want to support and guide you.
Yeah, be sure and share our contact information too, because I'm always happy to answer emails and yeah.
Yeah, you can definitely find all their information on AskARoofer and Roofer's Coffee Shop. You can find their websites, and then we will add all this info to the show notes as well. So everyone go check out those websites and see their directories and what they're all about. So
thank you so much for your time.
This has been great. We loved it. And you've been listening to the AskARoofer podcast. Lauren, this has been great.
This has been amazing. Yes, thank you so much.